Have you got a brand new Chevy 2500? You're ready for a canopy to plonk on the back end? I don't mean to put any canopy companies down by say exactly that. We'll get the rest of the vehicle to handle the weight of that extra canopy ready to plonk on the back end. The vehicle will drive out of our workshop. It will be a little bit bumpy with the leaf springs reset like that one there, but once that canopy goes on the back end, this vehicle is going to drive like a dream. It's got good GVM, it's got good payload still. The GCM on these 2500s is almost 12.5 tons, so you don't have to worry about 4.5 ton van on the back of this big 58-28 kilo GVM Chevy. So this one here, ready for the canopy, come through Big Dog Builds for the works. Let's start at the front end here. We'll go for a full walk around. We'll show why your Chevy 2500 should come in straight from the dealer to Big Dog Builds, and then it can go to the canopy company, get the rear end sorted, and if it's one of our chosen providers, we can build manage the whole entire thing. I'm Dean Bleasnart, the co-founder of Big Dog Builds, with well over 650 trucks now through the workshop. It's builds just like this one here that are coming in and out in a heartbeat. The workshop's definitely pumping, the Chevy 2500 being the most popular platform right now. And if you're interstate and you're looking to get a build like this one done, we can help get your vehicle in, either pre or post registered, and we'll get the build done, ready for the canopy in the back end, drive out like a dream, get the canopy on, come back for your 1,000-kilometer service and check over, and we'll make sure that this thing here is going to drive better than any other Chevy out on the road around Australia. For a canopy-spec vehicle, sticking to a 3-inch BDS suspension kit with a 35-inch wheel and tyre combination would probably be the most practical setup to go for. Of course, we can get you in, we can do the 5 or 6.5 inch with the bigger wheels and tyres, but in my personal opinion, this size here is all you need to get on the road, drive safely around Australia, still look the part, perform really well, and a vehicle like this one here isn't going to be too high, so once the canopy goes on the back end, you're still going to be able to reach all of the drawers, the accessories, the bits and bops that are in the back end there. So starting at the front end, we've got the Outback Kitters front bar. This one here, we've gone and installed the Switch Pro underneath the bonnet. That one there has a screen inside the cab, and that's going to control all of the lights on the outside of the bar itself. So you've got your 3 spotlights on the hoop. These ones here are the Baja Designs LP9 Sport range, and they're a combo beam. You've got your flood beam inside the light, and you've also got the spot lens in there as well. So once you get that vehicle, set those lights up, it's going to give you a really good range of light, both distance and spread. And by doing a nice spread on those ones, getting those outer edge ones lined up, spend the time one night to go up and set those ones up, it's going to drive like a dream, and you're going to be able to see a good distance down the road. But more importantly, that 300 to 500 range of light out to the sides is where I think the most important light is. It's usually where the skippies stay, and they're the ones that you're going to clean up if you can't see them. The bars also come standard with the good little LED light in the side wings there. These ones here do throw out a good amount of light out to the side of the vehicle. And with the Outback Kitters bars, they come standard obviously with the parking sensors to relocate into the bar itself. So we go through, we make sure that all of the sensors are plugged back in. We do all of our wiring looms in-house as well. So we thread those wires through the hoop. We Deutsch plug everything. So if you did need to remove the bumper, simply unplug the factory harness as well as the Deutsch plugs for the LED lights, and that one there can come off in a heartbeat. If you do need to get to the front end for whatever reason, removing and refitting a bar after it's come through the workshop is definitely nice and simple. The front end of this one, we've also got the carbon off-road 15,000 pound winch. That one's just under the front there. You've got your clutch under the center there, so lift that one up, run out with your winch lead. If you think you're gonna need it, before you hit that dodgy track, pop your bonnet open, turn your isolator on, have your remote nice and handy inside the cab. The wireless remote controllers with the carbon winch is obviously the easiest setup to use. If you do need to plug into the winch, these prerunner style bars, they look the part, but they are quite hard to get into to plug in for the remote control if your other one goes dead, for example. So what we do is we relocate the plug-in mount inside the engine bay. Makes it nice and easy if you did need to plug that one in, run the controller inside the cab, use the winch to get you out of a bog. But let's face it, most of the time you're helping others, probably a Land Cruiser, and get them out of the pickle, get back on the road and start traveling again. Textured black bar on this one here, definitely nice and durable. You've also got textured black hoop with the license plate on this one. It's the flexi style, that one's been bolted to the front end. We can do a few different setups with these Outback Kidders bars, whether you're wanting to run a color-coded bumper with the black hoop, whether you're wanting to do 2 spotlight tabs, which means we don't have to relocate the little camera under the front there, it can stay in the grille. Or if you're wanting to do 4 spotlights, for example, we've got multiple different options that we can do on the Outback Kidders bars. They're proving to be one of the most popular bars that are coming through the workshop at the moment. We'll swing around the side, we'll talk about the suspension up the front end, we'll get into the suspension at the rear end. This thing's also got a whole bunch of other goodies when it comes to the side steps, the roof rack, we'll get into everything. When it comes to the suspension wheel and tyre combination, we've got the 3-inch BDS suspension kit installed on this one here. With the 3-inch BDS suspension kit, we normally set the front end to about the 2.5 inch mark. That seems to be the sweet spot when it comes to a good wheel alignment. Being the independent torsion suspension setup on the Chevy 2500, you can take the load off the vehicle and you can adjust the front torsion keys. Those bolts for those keys are up underneath in the factory location. You can simply take the weight off the vehicle. You can crank them up a little bit if you're wanting to achieve a little bit more height. Over time, these vehicles will settle down a little bit. They will sag a little bit in the front end. So you can get a trusted workshop to raise up the front end a little bit, but just make sure you get another wheel alignment after you're done, and those tires are going to stay in good condition up the front end there as well. With the wheels and tires on this one here, we've gone for an 18x9 POS 18 Method 305 NV. The matte black method's obviously the most popular with the zinc lip bolts. This is the standard iconic wheel from Method race wheels, and then we've gone and installed the apex valves there. Those ones are nice and easy to deflate, go down from 50 psi down to 10-15 psi in a matter of seconds. And then we've got the Nitto Ridge Grappler tyres. Nitto Ridge Grapplers in a 35, 12.5, 18, or a massive 1800 kilos per tyre in load. And being a 35-inch tyre, it's obviously a diameter. The factory spare wheel can still fit underneath. If you're going for a canopy setup and you're wanting to run 6 wheels and tyres, then you can still run one up underneath. You can put the other one on the back of the canopy and still have room for an extra little jerry can on the back there as well. So these tyres proving to be one of the most popular through the workshops. In my opinion, the sidewall on the Nitto Ridge Grappler definitely looks the part. It's a nice aggressive looking tyre. It's also a very square tyre. So your diameter, your 12.5 inch wide tyre is definitely that 12.5 inches wide. And when you air these ones down, you're going to get a massive footprint if you're on gravel, if you're hitting the corrugations, if you're hitting the sand, for example. These things belly out really nicely. And with the different wheel and tyre combinations, you can get size down to single digits, even for a HD truck just like this one here. With an 18x9 POS 18 wheel, it's classed as a bit of a non-flared wheel depending on how you like your tyres to sit inside the guard. If we straighten these wheels out, it is going to be quite a safe fitment inside the colour-coded flares. But the whole reason why we've done the flares is we've also got the kickback mud flaps. Kickback mud flaps are going to be one of the best options for the front end of the Chevy to stop crap flicking up the side of the vehicle. We've got the XL side step there as well, which is going to stop a little bit more stones, but those kickback mud flaps definitely very, very popular these days. The flared fitment covering the tyres nice and safely. Once the canopy goes on the back end there, the whole look of the whole vehicle is going to be in proportion. It's going to be safe, it's going to be reliable, and it's going to not flick up mud because the tyres aren't sitting outside the guards. So the 3-inch BDS suspension kit with the 35-inch wheels and tyres, definitely a good fit. We don't have to do much trimming at all inside the bushwhacker flares for this fitment. The wider you go, the more trimming you're going to have to do on that mud flap area, or the old mud flap area, now that we've got the kickback ones. It doesn't really matter what size wheels and tyres we go now, because these kickback mud flaps are about 2 inches back further from where the factory mud flap would have been. We don't have to interfere with those ones there, and we can still install them pretty much no matter the wheel and tyre combo, unless you're doing something really silly. All right, enough about me. These side steps are definitely one of the most popular that we're doing at the moment. They're the Amp Research XL series, and that side step folds up nice and neatly under that little side step. And that one there's your extra little side step or sill on the side of the vehicle itself. Being textured black, it's nice and strong and durable. That step folds down. If you are wanting to get up to your roof rack, for example, you can close the door. That'll want to fold up, and then it'll stay down. You can jump up and down and use that one to get up, grab your max tracks off if your mate's bogged, and throw those ones out. Then you simply open the door, close the door, and that one's going to fold up and be out of the way. The Amp Research XL series side steps also comes with little puddle lights underneath as well. So when the door's triggered, those ones fold down, the little side lights come on, and it lights up the underneath the vehicle quite nicely at night time. Speaking of lighting up the side of the vehicle, we've got the Big Dog Builds accessory rack up on top. And if I go in and turn on the Switch Pro with these little side lights, it's going to be a little bit useless because it is very, very bright out here right now. But those ones can turn on. You can change them between white and amber. So you just hold your finger down on the button there for a second, the little micro touch lights from Steady. So you got amber and white, and then you can change them back. What I like to say customers do out on the road, whether they actually do it or not, it's another thing. White lights, look for a campsite, turn them to amber, dim them down 2 different levels through the Switch Pro as well. You're going to get a good range of light, whether you want it nice and bright, but you don't want to attract the bugs around the campsite. Going to amber, dimming them down, and it's going to give you a nice ambient light. Still going to be able to get to the vehicle, watch the kids playing until it's ready for bedtime or shower time or whatnot. And those ones there, definitely very, very popular. That's not very nice, eh? Who set me up on that one? I haven't even gone for a test drive yet. All right, now that I've cleaned up after myself, no booby traps anymore, other than the Gen Y Hitch rear step. So, you know bear traps when it came to the old BMX push bikes? You used to spin that one around and smack on the shin. Imagine that one on the back of your Gen Y Hitch. You'd definitely feel it, wouldn't you? But that one there, this customer's obviously opted for a little Jenny Hitch extra step. So with the drop down hitch on the rear end there, pop that into the top one. You're going to be able to climb up, then get up onto your ladder, onto your canopy, for example, nice and easily. Just don't have too many beers at the end of a night and come down and hit that on your shin, because you definitely wouldn't feel the best. Ooh, brings back memories from the teenage years, that's for sure. So I'm easily distracted, as you can tell, and that one just had to tidy up the side there. But what I was saying was the Big Dog Builds accessory rack being very popular with the side lights on the side there. If you're wanting to take your max tracks off, these side steps make getting up and down nice and easy. Those ones there, and then you're ready to take that one off. So max tracks extremes, we've got those ones on there. These ones here will hold 4 boards, and it definitely makes getting them off and on really easy. We can also supply the little locks as well, so no one will pinch these things because they're not cheap, but they're definitely worth it. If you're traveling around Australia and you don't have max tracks on your vehicle, yeah, good luck. Solar panel up on the other side of the roof rack there. That one can trickle charge the under bonnet battery. Whether you've got a canopy going on the back end, in my opinion, having the solar panel on top of the rooftop tent or on top of the canopy, charging the battery setup that's in the rear, but the solar panel on the roof rack itself, we go down, we go through a solar MPPT controller, little Victron unit, and we charge up those batteries under bonnet. The Chevy batteries, how they come from the States, in my opinion, they're not the best. They do make one battery underneath the other battery because of the conversion here in Australia, and having that solar panel up on the roof rack, trickle charging those ones is just going to give you peace of mind that it's not going to go flat. Every time you open and close a door, electric side steps are dropping down, those little lights are turning on, but also all the computers inside the vehicle as well are turning on every time you're doing that. Speaking of opening your door, we've gone for the 5828 kilo GVM upgrade. So that one there is a massive 5828 with the extra 295 kilos over the factory rear axle load rating. So that's now a massive 3289 kilo rear axle load. And that one there is one of the best in the class for a single rear HD truck in Australia on the roads. We can do that one there, we engineer it, being the NB2 category. It's obviously easier if you choose your vehicle to be registered NB2 from factory. We can do that upgrade, give you the bit of paperwork, go back into transport, lodge that one, and they just do a computer upgrade online. I'm going to turn that light off now. We'll swing around the rear end. We'll talk about how this one's ready for the canopy on the back end, and we'll swing over the other side. I can see a UHF on the bonnet. I think there's a long range fuel tank in this one there. And there's an important note to talk about the fuel tank because I'm getting asked it on a daily. Does the fuel gauge work? Pipe down. I don't care what's next. I need it right now. And I got it numbers going stupid like they. When it comes to the rear end of the vehicle, being canopy ready means that we've done a leaf spring reset. Of course, we've finished the suspension setup in the rear end there as well. So you got the good 2.5 remote res Fox shocks obviously up the back end there as well. Both adjustable low speed and high speed. We've also installed the Anderson plug setup. So that's a grey Anderson plug plus a red Anderson plug. The grey Anderson plug's only live while the ignition's on. So that one's gonna give you 50 amps of charge to your caravan. We've now got a HD setup. If you've got a new van on order running something like the 24, 48 volt setups, we've got the larger HD Anderson plug setup now that we can offer. So just get in touch with us. If you've got an order already in place, really important to get in touch so we can upgrade that one now rather than having to do it twice down the track. The 12-pin setup obviously comes standard on these vehicles. You don't have to go and install a Red Arc Tow Pro. And then we've got the airbags in the rear end there. You got your manual adjusting valves, and if you're wanting to do it inside the cab, you got your Air IQ in there as well. The Gen Y hitch combo, really important to make sure that you get the full combination with 2 locking pins. We do that in all of our kits. Lock the hitch to the vehicle itself, and once you've got your DO45 on for the van or your 70mm ball for the boat, for example, put your locking pin in there. No one's going to be able to easily undo the standard ones. Take that pin out, pinch the hitch itself, or even worse, what we've seen around Australia in the last few years is little kids or little punks undoing that one there, leaving it on the vehicle. Vehicle drives off and the van stays behind. It's not a fun place to be in, and it's very, very cruel and sad to see, but it's just part of traveling around Australia. Knowing your setup, knowing that it's secure is really important, and that one there's a cheap little peace of mind option to add to your hitch combo at the back end, and make sure that that doesn't happen to you. That's all we've done at the back end of this one here. Like I said, HD setup. It is going to be a little bit bumpy driving around for this customer until the canopy goes on, but once that canopy goes on, it's going to ride like a breeze. And there's 2 other things on this one here that I'll mention on this side: fuel tank and UHF. We've got the Oricom UHF on the bonnet mount bracket, so the 640mm antenna there. The beauty with the Oricom is you've got 2 channels that you can choose from. So you can have the highway channel on in the background, and you can talk on the convoy channel. You can easily swap between the 2. So that's a cool little feature with the Oricom UHF. On this side here, of course, we've got the same thing, the solar panel up on the roof rack on this side. You can go up and install a Starlink mount if you want up there as well. But underneath this side that you can't really see, we've got the long range fuel tank. 210 litre Titan long range fuel tank for this model here. The most popular long range fuel tank we offer, and I get asked all the time, is the fuel gauge going to be accurate? That's where it becomes a little bit tricky. There's no fix, even from GMSV, to tell the vehicle's computer that it's got the larger fuel tank size. So there is going to be an issue if you fill up the vehicle to the complete full level. When that vehicle's using that fuel from the new full to the old full, it's going to freak out because the vehicle doesn't register that it's using fuel at all, and it'll typically drop the gauge down to 0, it'll put the fuel light on, and it'll freak you out the first time it happens. Keep driving for another hour, another 100 kilometers or so, that fuel gauge is going to drop down to close to the original full level. Turn the vehicle off, back on again, and then it's going to drop as per normal. Your distance to empty is going to be quite accurate still, and it's going to be all sweet. So it freaks everyone out the first time it happens, but having that additional 70 litres of fuel capacity is definitely well worth the investment, especially if you're traveling to the more remote parts around Australia. Getting as much fuel as you can on board is definitely a must. And like I said, with this setup here, running a 35-inch tyres, the full-size spare, so the 35 can still fit up underneath in the factory location. This one getting a canopy, I'm not too sure exactly what canopy setup this one's getting, but you could run a 6 spare wheel up on the back, or a second spare wheel, meaning 6 in total, and then you can run a jerry can on the back there as well, because let's face it, having that additional 20 litres of fuel capacity, if you do run out in the remote areas around Australia, it's a long walk to the nearest servo. That's it. Canopy-spec Chevy 2500, come into Big Dog Builds, got all of the good stuff ready for the canopy weight to plonk on the back. Whether you're chasing a full-size canopy, a half canopy, if it's something really, really lightweight, get in touch because we will alter the rear end a little bit. We've done hundreds and hundreds of these setups here now, so we know exactly how to set up the vehicle to give you a great ride, both loaded and unloaded. Like I said, this one will be a little bit bumpy until the weight of that canopy plonks on the back, and then it's going to ride like a dream. This customer will get that installed, come by, get a 1,000-kilometer checkup done, and then he's ready to travel. If you like this video, guys, check this one out here to see these things boogie up the beach. This season, here's one to watch. These 2 videos as well, they're pretty cool.